I'm WG and it's time we talk about the most important weekly boss, the Fear Encountered Judas fight. Now, why am I referring to it as the most important? That is due to it unlocking the most important potential nodes. Like, for example, the unique upgrade node for your hyper carries, your main DPSs, as well as also the high level crit chance node. They all require this golden essence, whereas even this basic attack proficiency requires it as well, just giving it a higher value. Now, next up, obviously you only unlock this boss on level 40, which allows you to then challenge upwards of difficulty 5, or I think upon level 30. I'm not quite sure, but should you get to level 50, you can move past difficulty 5 into 6, 7, and 8, with then 9 and 10 the week after. So now that we're here, let's talk about its mechanics. We're going to go into difficulty 7 for showcase reasons. We'll break it down one by one, and then we'll also obviously talk about what units and the like are needed. So first off, what you need to know is Condemnation is bad. Condemnation is something that he naturally gains every start of the turn, putting you on a bit of a clock. And should he reach a 5 Condemnation stacks, his attack instead of the Lord's Revelation is actually going to change into a very big damage hit. And that is going to ruin your life. Now, how can you stop that from happening? That is the Lord's Discipline. After acting, meaning that when his action timer, his 5 timer, we play 5 cards, when he punches us and it is still our turn, the moment we use a card, he gets 1 stack. So if we, for example, have him act and play 3 cards, he's already is going to get 3 more stacks. Then now, how do you stop this from happening? Number 1, you only play as many cards as he has his action count. If you play his card or many cards and then you have him attack you, and you don't play any cards, you're safe. Next up, it says upon breakthrough. What that means is you see this break bar below the boss, right? This like super chunky bar. If you can break him, he is going to lose the Lord's Discipline, this whole thing, for 1 round. What that means is even after he's acted, so long as he's broken, you continuously are allowed to play cards. So these are the 2 ways you need to deal with this. Let's quickly skip to the next mechanic. So his next mechanic is called the Lord's Benediction, which gives him a shield, but also creates 3 blessings of God. So let's talk about them. Alright, so here we have the Lord's Benediction. The Lord's Benediction is a card that he puts on the top of your draw pile, meaning in the turn after, you're guaranteed to pull the 3 of them. What it does, it gives you a shield. It gives Judas a shield equal to his max HP, and it draws you 1. Doesn't sound too threatening. There is 2 things though. Number 1, this thing doesn't have haste, meaning the moment you play it, you reduce his action count. Number 2, a 429 shield is quite beefy. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I guess that's it, right? So they're going to start clumping up your deck. Now, what do you do with these cards? In general, you don't want to play him and play these cards, and that is so long as you cannot guarantee doing more than whatever HP amount it says in the brackets with the card you are about to pull, then playing this card is not a good idea. Though it can still be valuable to be played depending on how high his action count is. The lower his action count, the more useless these become, because you truly want to play cards that have a high value. So those are the base mechanics. Oh yeah, I guess important to know, if you have him deal the Fist of Condemnation at 5 stacks, you actually have infinite time to play as many cards as possible to kill him before that. But important to note, the Fist of Condemnation still comes down and hits you when you kill him. Now, just if you're curious, his second form is still the same thing. You have this thing called the Summary Execution, which has him perform a powerful action the moment you reach 5 stacks, and you still have the same thing. If he acts and you play a card, he gains a stack, and also if you break him, you remove it for 1 turn. At the start of the turn, he gains it back, and at the start of the turn, he gets 1 increase. What you can also see is that these stacks have carried over. These are the 4 stacks we had from the final fight moving over, so it might be in your best interest to potentially take a 5 stack hit from the first phase Judas before taking the stronger 5 phase hit from our Judas second phase. So now that you know how my guy works, what can you do about it and which units are especially effective against him? So first off, what every deck can do against him is increasing his action count. So number one, cards with the haste tag do not reduce his action count, meaning you can play as many of those as you like. Number two, Rally increases his action count by 3, allowing you to play an additional 3 cards this turn, which can be especially valuable if he only has like his, let's say, starting turn meter of 3. Basically doubling their turn meter. And then the second other card you need to keep in your mind's eye, besides some more fringe ones like monster cards with action count increase, has to be the Wanderer of the Void. Wanderer of the Void, exclusive to controllers and psionics, can completely stop him from increasing his action count. If you want to use any type of spam build, be it Tresor or Luke, you have to have a Wanderer of the Void. Otherwise, there is no way you're going to reasonably get enough action count to play all those daggers, to shoot all those bullets, to do all these fancy things. So that is that. So now, which units are particularly good at taking him down? As we already briefly mentioned it, Luke and Tresor only really if you have the Wanderer of the Void. A unit that should become immediately obvious to you is Haru. Not only is she the right element due to him having justice weakness, not only does the guy have a shield, but she also has incredible single target against a single target boss, as well as the pulverized tag, meaning it is a natural 20% damage increase against shields. So even if you play the 0 cost cards that draw you one, give you a shield, give him a shield, you're still going to be able to deal that additional damage against him. And then on the note of shields, even though it's not passion weak, you do also have your Maribel, which also has the pulverize tag. On the other hand, then other units we kind of want to talk about obviously are, for example, Rin. My guy is going to put a whole bunch of skill cards into your hand, so using or having something like the Dark Mist Secret Art Black Dance, which deals more hits the more skill cards you have in hand, can naturally have the enemy increase your damage without you even having to use them. And you even have, for example, a reliable epiphany in either the guaranteed into your hand draw or just the standard 2 draw to make sure you get as many Black Dances as possible. And then as well, you also have the Drawing Slash and the Dark Mist Secret Art Annihilation being haste cards, meaning you can play these cards without reducing his action count. On a note of haste cards, we also have somebody else, and that is Hugo. Hugo also kind of requires you to get the Wanderer of the Void, so then you can have like a Luke or a Tresor, have him pull off all these follow-up attacks, though in general he himself has the haste tag. He himself doesn't really reduce action count, so Luke is another good target. Then next up, as you might have already been able to glean it from the team or from the clip you've seen of us talking about the fight, you have units like Renoa and units, for example, like Charon. The reason why Renoa and Charon is because they can achieve quite a lot in quite a few actions. The same is obviously true and has to be mentioned. You have a Beryl. Beryl is someone that not only is she type effective, but she can also play very few cards by relying on the retain mechanic instead of having to play everything in one big burst turn, being able to play a couple cards each turn while all her cards just become naturally stronger over time. So these are the main contributors, and then you also obviously have units like Magna who are type effective, who can help with breaking, who can help with shielding. So the core principle is you finding a balance between dealing damage and surviving long enough to kill him. So that is pretty much the shenanigan. So on that note, for example, also obviously Khalib works, though keep in mind, I do believe playing a 2 cost card and then having a vulture launch get launched still counts as 2 actions, so that is important to keep in mind. So now we'll be doing 2 fights. We'll be doing a difficulty 7 and a difficulty 8 run. In fight 1 we'll be using fully level 50 units in a Nia, Cassius and a Renoa. And obviously we'll quickly go through the gear, we'll go through everything else you might want to know. So potential, we're looking at barely anything. Manifest Ego is E0, and then our memory fragments are a 2-piece, twice at attack percent and crit damage. These substats are as following: 41% 41.4% total crit chance, 40% crit damage, meaning 25 of that comes from the set. The piece arrangement you can see right here, main stat wise we have crit chance, we have avoid damage, and we have ourselves attack percent, and then for the left side we just have some crit chance, some crit damage, and the same thing kind of the whole way through. So that is our Renoa. Now on the other hand, our Nia, she's just rocking a very simple defense max HP 2-piece with the stat allocation being defense, health and health, as well as then these set pieces right here. Honestly, nothing too crazy, though what you can keep in mind is that our Nia that we're actually using is going to have a 0 cost Nia's Curiosity. And we're also going to get this like rhythm shuffle boost. I don't think they are truly that advantageous, but at the end of the day, it is important for you to know that we do in fact have that. So that is our Nia. And then the same is also true for our Cassius. We have him on A5 or E5. We have the morale reduction right here. And then this morale down, we don't have that yet. And then the memory fragments are also going to be your usual set with again the same arrangement in defense, health, and then defense flat stats in a 2-piece set, with the potential for our last 2 remaining units also not being leveled that highly. Now on the note of decks that we have ready, we have a half decent deck. This piece makes absolutely no sense. The shield gain is irrelevant. We have 1 copy of Rally, so we can at least prolong him by 3 for 1 turn. We have our 1 shuffle to exhaust all cards in hand, to just get rid of some dirge bullets and draw some more. We have the Joker to deck surge, and we have been able to remove 1 basic attack. It's not the best of saves, it's not the worst one. Our Nia on the other hand, we have an Adagio with the discard 1, if discarded create 1 Adagio, so the double Adagio Epiphany. We have ourselves a gear bag, a Nia's Curiosity, and a just kind of standard mute accent with the basic attack removed. And then our Renoa is going to start off with 3 Echoes of Sorrow, giving us a consistent amount of dirge bullets every single turn, whereas our Flower of Devoured Fate, our usual dirge bullet generation, is kinda hot garbage. Okay, it's not that bad, but it's something we are, for example, going to deck search, target search with our Cassius. And then we have the ambush card, which honestly isn't that great in this fight as a whole, but if we can play it for 0, we can at least play it. This one, when a card is exhausted, fixed shield does work on us playing the dirge bullets. Then we have the upgrade card. Upgrade, we don't really have a lot of upgrade cards, but we at least have the extra attack weapon. So that is our team for difficulty 7. Let's go into the fight. Keep in mind these fights are quite lengthy, so yeah, stay tight. If not, just make do with the explanation from the beginning. So as we've said, we're going to start off without anything crazy. We have 3 of our outbreaks of war, we get our hits in, and we get a punch in the face as it should be. So right here we can then, for example, get our first action. You can see his turn meter is already down to 3, so we're going to draw some more cards. And then we're going to see if maybe we can pull some funny shenanigans here by searching for 1 high value card in the next pull, which we don't quite find as much, but we'll still be able to use a Flower of Devoured Fate to at least get rid of some cards right here, so we can continue with our bullet generation. Unless we pull a rally here, which we indeed do, it still doesn't work, right? Because it's too late. So we're just going to end the turn here, and we're going to have him, build up his meter. So then we have our cards in hand, the Lord's Benediction. We cannot really afford, nor is it of great use to us to actually use these cards. So the only thing we're going to do is give ourselves a little bit of healing and just end our turn right here. And we get a nice punch, as it's meant to be. And then right here we have a couple options. We have 5 cards to play. We don't have any real card draw in hand. But what we could do is, for example, due to it being a 5 turn, use the Battle Pass partner to get rid of 3 of our more useless cards, draw ourselves 4 more ones, see if there's any value in here, like for example how we can use the Adagio to draw a dirge bullet, to discard a dirge bullet, to fire the dirge bullet, to use the Adagio, to discard a dirge bullet, to fire a dirge bullet, to then still have 4 turns, allowing us to play a Decibel, giving us another card, another dirge bullet played for free. We can activate the Pop-Eye Popper for the morale bonus, And then we're probably going to go for the full house upgrade. And then we have exactly one action left, which is this one right here, allowing us to fire our remaining bullets. And that then is going to be our turn. No point in acting here, otherwise he's just going to start changing through the strong action, and he's pretty much going to whoop our asses. We don't really want that. I don't think we have much of a choice. This turn he's going to die anyway, so we might as well make the most out of it. And then we just have to take the punch. We just have to take the punch next turn. And I guess one of the issues you could say with this team comp is right there, right? The fact that we did at least get punched due to him dying at 5 stacks. So it is to a degree to your advantage if you kill him while he has 4 stacks, because he then goes into 5. Because if you kill him too early, you might be running into a little bit of trouble. So what we're going to do here quite simply is we just use the Flower of Devoured Fate. We don't have a lot to do here. So yeah, it's a full hand. And we have a lot of dirge bullets, so we can already at least play him just so we get more damage. And then, yeah, we just fire away. Obviously, there's multiple ways you can do this with more survivability, with better healing and everything like that. But he always seems to rotate between an attack and a shield. So you always have like at least a little bit time in between to heal. What is important to note here is my guy is down to 2 actions. So we can exactly play 2 cards. The cards we're going to be playing is a heal and a heal. And then we end our turn. Alright, we're starting to get some decent damage in. Now we have 5 abilities, 5 actions right here. So we can discard 1 dirge bullet. We can play 2 dirge bullets. Now, looking at his damage, it is 263 times 2. We are on less than 500 health. The question is, can we keep us alive? Yeah, you see this like sliver of health? This like tiny grain sliver. So here it's actually worth it for us to play 1 card, because it's always better than fucking croaking. So that is what we don't want to do, which means we already at least here do the Renoa ult, so we can get some more value in. And then, yeah, that's truly a tiny sliver of health, isn't it? But yeah, then we end our turn and we get some bangs, which is quite good. 4 health it is. This turn he is again going to, let's see, he's still going to attack us, which means we have 1 turn. Let's see if we can make something happen. Let's see, we could draw 1 card. I mean, it's kind of like the final turn, so let's see. It's another dirge bullet. Yeah, I guess we can play them all. Let's see if it's enough. 1,800. And we got acted on and we died. Alright, we've made it back to a similar point. We've exactly used 1 of his Judas shields. We're going to at least survive the next turn. And then at least also for the turn after, we still have the Renoa ult left if necessary. So it is a bit of RNG, it's a bit of hit and miss, but it is also part of the plan. So yeah, there you go. That's Judas 7. And for Judas 8, I think we're just going to rock up with Rin and see how we can make it work. Bye-bye. So yeah, let's see what kind of drop we can get, just in case, if anybody cares. Hey, we get 2 of them. That's sweet. Alright, now for the difficulty 8 team, what am I rocking up with? We're going to be using Ray, Rin, Mika. So Ray, Rin, Mika, let's have a look at them in detail. First off, Manifest Ego. Yes, we do have a stronger Dark Mist Secret Art Black Dance. And yes, we have this Dark Mist Sheath Sword that we gain whenever we enter into a turn with Dark Mist Stance, though it might actually be a bit more of a detriment due to it not having the haste tag. Just get that out of the way. Next up, the memory fragments are the same as for Renoa. They are a 2-piece attack, 2-piece crit damage. In order, these are the sets. Feel free to pause if you want to take a closer look or anything like that. Potential, my Rin is my best invested unit. You can see we are on 4 out of 5 on the crit chance. We have this maxed out and we are on 7 out of 8 on the unique card potential. And then save data wise, I mean, might as well already talk about it. So we have a save data with a whole bunch of Darkness Secret Art destructions, which allows us to pull as many Darkness Secret Art Blade Dances as we need, as well as the Darkness In Art upgrade and a no shield card plus Belligerence to potentially draw us even more attack cards. Next in line is gonna be our Mika. So our Mika is E6, which means we do have the 2 waves at the beginning of the battle. If not, you might even be better off just using a save data that doesn't have Deluge. Memory Fragments, it's the same set as before, which means a 2-piece max HP, 2-piece defense. We're running defense percent, health percent, health percent, health, defense, attack, and then the subsets you've seen. Potential wise, we have mainly the potential from the copies, the 7 out of 16. We don't have any other investment past that. And then save data wise, let's have a look. So as you can see, I've just picked the save data where I found the most rallies in. The more rallies we have, the more chances we have to prolong his turns, and the more chances we have for Rin to go crazy. We do also have the 1 additional AP on the tactical analysis, and we have the ability to shield ourselves should we go past max HP on Blessing of the Waves. But Water Arrow is back in, and Whirlpool is also still a thing. Alright, Ray. Now, our Ray, important to note, she is E6, so we do get that extra attack card damage bonus as well as the slide here should we use an attack card. So that is important to say in advance. Is it a fight complicating or fight crucial? I don't really think it is. Potential wise, you can see we haven't really leveled anything else. I'm not even sure if this thing is active at 6 out of 16. I couldn't tell you, haven't properly tested it. I mean, we can have a look at the cards. It does say 112, so the unique card bonus should be in effect. Now, memory fragments, really quickly, again, we have our defense, health, defense, attack, level 50, partners, I guess we have a level 50 Nyx, we have a level 50 Arwen, and we have a level 60 Scarlet. That is very important on our Rin, at least in a damage perspective, though to be fair, it's not too important. So now that we have that Ray out of the way, let's have a look at her save data. So her save data has 2 gear bags, and then a snack time normal and a double divine snack time with 1 AP. So we just have a bunch of AP generation. Honestly, I'm not even sure if we'll be able to use it all, but we also have 1 basic attack removed and potentially this extra shield gain per attack card used, whereas obviously Rin's is damage against low HP enemies and upgrade card damage. And yeah, here we at least get a bigger shield on turn 2 after battle. Alright, now that everything like that is out of the way, it's time we take on the guy. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so difficulty 8, first try I guess you could even say. So we're obviously going to go with the double exhaust. We're going to get rid of Water Arrow for good, and we'll probably get rid of snack time normal anyway. And then we have ourselves the option to play Deluge. Draw ourselves our 2 cards. Unfortunately, we don't have a stance, so it can still work, but it might just also, to a degree, be better if we were to just restart the fight, but we honestly continue going with it. But Rin stance is actually quite important. But yeah, we have our standard stuff here going in. We have a nice shield, which is the turn 2 shield. And yeah, honestly, this turn doesn't really look like much is going to happen. We can, we can play exactly 3 cards. We have 3 AP. So 1, 2, 3 doesn't make a difference. So yeah, we just double attack and that's kind of our turn. Alright, there we go. We now have the 3 cards in hand. We're drawing into the Lord's Benediction. Here we can actually use the Sheath Sword, which we only get through the Epiphany, but we can use it to actually trigger the gear bag to draw some more cards. You can see the action counter actually counting down. And then, yeah, I guess we play an exhaustion card, just so we can get a gear bag triggered. We do have 6 actions. We can increase his actions by a little bit more, trigger the gear bag. So now we're looking good. We even have the ability to further increase it. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to draw us our cards. We're going to start in with our morale increasing slash, then get our multi-hitter in. And then after that, we're actually going to just do it again. right here. So we're going to start with the morale increasing slash. You can see our morale is now already up to 5. We can then give ourselves more AP. Do it one more time. Right here with the big cuts. With the sweet crits. And then technically we can try something funny by delaying him a little bit. But honestly, it doesn't really do too much. Alright, and then we end our turn and we continue into the next one. So now we're still decently healthy. We know that my guy is going to hit us, which means we'll probably open up with a exhaust so that we can get rid of the basic attack and the whirlpools because we don't need those. Then we can probably delay him for free here. We're kind of fishing for more AP so that when we use the blessing of the waves, we actually gain the max amount of health possible because we know he's going to hit us. So now we just play our free buffing cards and I guess we end it on a slash. So now the hit should come down after he dies. Let's see, does it? Yeah, there you go. We take the 500 damage, but we did heal in advance. What I kind of don't like is that we did kill him, but we're still in the same turn. So there might just be something that you have to find a little bit differently with the turn order, because this is obviously kind of garbage, right? We are in a turn, doing basically nothing, with no cards in hand. So, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. Alright, so let's see right here if we can find ourselves a stance card. So first we're obviously going to increase his turns. No way that this is going to be good. And then we are going to have to just here already get rid of pretty much all of these cards, just so we can hopefully draw us a stance card, which we do. So we can trigger this one here. Might just get a little redundant, but we're just going to play this anyway, just to save us a couple more skill cards. Get our draw in, and then just do a black dance, which is 3-3. This is 3-6. So yeah, we probably just black dance this. And then at least it's only a shield round. So I don't think there's a point in us pulling here. Nothing we could pull with the move card. Alright, we have a bunch of benediction. We have the blessing of the waves. We can increase our AP to 4. We can further increase our healing by quite a bit. So we heal up by a decent amount. We could technically afford to give him a shield, but I don't really see a reason why. So we're just going to take it. Alright. And then right here we can again increase his turn meter. We can draw ourselves some cards. We are already in the stance, which is nice. But we unfortunately don't have a lot of skill cards. So let's see. How do we do this? We have 4 AP. Yeah, I mean the best is probably we just go with our slash. Go with the... Oh wait, we can do this a little better. For those of you that have already spotted it, yeah, I made a mistake there. Luckily, we can go back in time. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our morale increasing slash first to increase the damage of the multi-hitter, which means right here we go in, we get the extra morale, we then use the multi-cutter. Then after the multi-cut, we can increase our AP by 1. He still has 5 actions, so we can increase our basic attack damage, finish it with the basic attack, and then lay in the final slash. You can see 500 damage. Sure, it helps, but it's nothing crazy. And then right here we can once again stop him. We do have attack cards on hand, which we would have to play for Belligerents to come into effect. So we might as well just get us some cards in hand. And then here we have some skill cards, which leads to a couple cuts. And there we go. So that is difficulty 8, 9 and 10 are going to follow a similar scheme. And we should stand a chance beating him next week. I hope you were able to learn something from this. I hope I was able to teach you how this fight works and what you expected to do. And what the hell is 100,000 XP to level up? This shit is crazy.